3, 2, 1. What's up, everyone? Dan here. Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. July 16th, a good day for cryptocurrency, at least for today. Things could change tomorrow, but I want to go over a couple pieces of news as well as just kind of hang out with you all and maybe look at some Bitcoin and Litecoin charts as we move a little bit. You can see I took a snapshot of Clinton Elliott's question just because I didn't want it to get lost in the chat as people start coming in. And what I want to do is, real quick before I get started, I changed some settings on my video. I just want to make sure there's no lag here. If you guys could all just, give me a yes, you can hear me, you can see me, or we're streaming, that would be very helpful to me. So yes, I'm gonna get started, and I'm actually gonna start with this question so that I don't forget. It's a technical analysis question, and it comes from Clinton, who says, "Hey Dan, could you please explain the 40 line? I'm new to TA and have figured out a bunch of what you're talking about in your videos, but that reoccurring concept still isn't clear to me, thanks." So, John, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't know they're streaming. Should I get off? Should I stop streaming? So that's the question, the 40 line. And I just made some brief notes because I want to explain this before we start the video, or I guess we started the video, but I want to explain this. The 40 line, and I'm assuming he's talking about the RSI, which is a momentum oscillator. I talk about it a lot. I talk about the importance of it and watching it mainly as an area of support. Typically in a bear market, we will be trading on the RSI, on this momentum oscillator, below the 40 line. We'll be trading quite often below the 40 line, and you can see it here. Basically, this is the beginning of 2018 to where we are now. You can see that's quite often to be under the 40 line. So typically in a bull market, this is for the general concept of why I use the 40 line. The 40 to 90 line is basically where you'll see the oscillator in a bull market, right? In a bull trend with support generally at 40, at the 40 line. So when you see me using that momentum oscillator, the RSI, that's why I use it. I watch it often, and I also look at simultaneous things happening in terms of the RSI, right? That 40 line and other things. So you can see we saw a bounce just above that 40 line, and I talked about it a few days ago when it happened, the 13th or 14th. And we can go back to the chart and you can see that's right where that second shoulder that we've been tracking in Bitcoin on the daily showed support. So for me, that was a very nice bullish sign of a possible confirmed reverse head and shoulders. And the fact that we can watch that oscillator show support at that critical 40 line, and this isn't just me, this is a general trend, this is a general concept that many traders that track the markets follow, that 40 line acting as support, that 40 to 50 area, this green area acting as support in a bull market. So it's a good sign. So that's why I did that. That's why I talk about the 40 line. I wanted to explain that real quick. And those are my thoughts. Obviously, right now, the market is moving a little bit. I want to talk about it. And what's hilarious is I saw a comment, because I tweeted this tweet. It was a quick poll. I just was sitting here in my office working, and I was telling Sarah, I want to go live. I need a break. I mean, I work nonstop, and sometimes you get to take a break when you just kind of go live, do a live stream, talk with you guys. So I took a poll, and then someone said, no, basically don't do the live stream. You will jinx it, as always. Quiet time, sunshine. And that just cracked me up. So I'm doing it anyway, so I'm sorry to Nick. Hopefully I don't jinx the market and it starts going down, but right now you can see, first off, Litecoin, $84.29. And before we get into kind of talking about Bitcoin and Litecoin charts, I do want to just go over this article real quick. Everybody's always talking about big money coming in, and it can kind of get repetitive if we're not actually giving examples of what's happening, what's happening behind the scenes. So this article does a good job of explaining that and giving context to that whole storyline. and those talking points that we see. Big money's coming in. Institutional investors are really starting to look at this. This gives good context to it. And there's many, many other articles. I just kind of chose this one to go over at the beginning of this live stream because I found it interesting. So you can see billionaire Steven Cohen jumps on the crypto bandwagon, seemingly developing an interest in cryptocurrencies. Cohen made headlines after making an investment in Autonomous Partners, a crypto hedge fund that caught his attention. Steven Cohen crypto investment is expected to come via Cohen Private Ventures, his private investment vehicle. After spending up to 3 decades dealing with asset management entrepreneurship, it would appear that billionaire Steven Cohen is ready for a new venture. At least that's what it seems, judging by his recent decision to make investment in cryptocurrencies through crypto hedge fund. This makes Cohen's first crypto investment and new interest of the known billionaire. So the fund is very careful, and it talks about it recently invested in 0x protocol. Generally, the fund has pretty strict criteria when it comes to project selection. I highlighted this paragraph because I found it interesting. If you're, a Ripple fan, I'm sorry, but many have noticed that it has avoided investing in Ripple. The fund has avoided investing in Ripple. It's believed that the reason for this is the fact that Ripple, the company, owns the majority of XRP tokens. Additionally, SEC has been struggling with Ripple lately, with discussions regarding whether XRP is a security or not still not being resolved. So ouch to that if you're a Ripple fan. I'm sorry. Usually you don't see me talking bad about any cryptocurrency. I'm not going to talk bad about Ripple, but that's not the most bullish news in an article that it could get. So then it says the crypto sector, while being ignored for a long time, is now attracting more and more attention from some of the biggest names in the institutional investor sphere. And it's so true. So much attention is definitely being drawn to this space. What's crazy is how early we are. I was talking to an engineer earlier, and we were just talking about that exact thing. There's a lot of attention on the space right now, but when you look at things like market cap, when you look at things like how big of a dip that we've taken in 2018, it's crazy to think what is yet to come. So it ends, obviously the crypto world is filled with activities and the investors will join in eventually. More and more of them are seriously considering doing so sooner rather than later. Additionally, with each of them finally joining in on the crypto party, others are getting encouraged to do the same. There's the article. Big money turning its eyes to cryptocurrency. You and I are here through this bear market together. We've done it, and it could continue. The bear market can continue. We haven't won anything, but it's definitely such bullish news, even if it's years out. Such bullish news. So many cool projects, so many cool things happening in cryptocurrency space. So Adam says, do you recruit only devs or also sales for crypto? Adam, I definitely recruit mostly engineers. However, I do recruit sales as a recruiter. It's just that most of the blockchain startups that I work with are not currently, recruiting sales right now. It's not their focus at all. Typically because they're building right now, and there's definitely a shortage on talented, really good engineers that are in the cryptocurrency space or willing to make that jump. If I talk to most engineers at a company like Google or Apple, they're not very interested in making that jump. But when I do talk to the ones that are interested, they are they're very needed, very desired in the cryptocurrency space. So, but sales will come, trust me. There's going to be a shift from these companies, these startups recruiting engineers to recruiting sales, and I'll be more than happy to send biz dev their way as well. So, Tremor45, think still bearish in October? I feel like most people think this fall is going to be extremely bullish, if not the most bullish that we've seen. If everybody's expecting that, I don't know if that's a very good thing. Thornton Plumbing, what's up, Dan? Say hi to my family. What's up, Thornton family? What's going on? I hope you're doing well today, Monday, July 17th. Adam Robert needs to learn code. Not a bad idea at all right now. Really not a bad idea. Tyler S. has a new intro. When will you respond? When will I respond with what, David? His intros are amazing. I actually just commented on his video today about his intros. I own a small business, but in Mississippi, it may be a while before everyone has cryptos to spend. It may be a while, but it's all good. It's coming. It is coming. So I covered that article. And by the way, I used for this article Live Coin Watch. Is anybody else using Live Coin Watch? I like them, and I wanted to just kind of go over real quick their interface, just because I think a couple things are cool. Number one, real time, and actually you can change the refresh rate of the pricing. You can have 2 seconds, you can have 1 second, 5 seconds. I like it. It's a clean interface. It's easy to use. So that's where I got that news article. I'll put a link in the description for you all. And I know a lot of you are used to CoinMarketCap, but I like this. Also lets you kind of just change the theme real quick. I can't tell which one I like better. I think the black hurts my eyes. Rasp says Live Coin Watch is awesome, and it is pretty good. Marshall says I've hodled this long, might as well hodl till I've lost everything. Dude, that's such a bad way to think. I don't think you're gonna lose everything. This is not financial advice. Someone mentioned Blockfolio. I think this website lets you create an account and actually build your portfolio, which is cool. So I'm gonna turn that back onto the day theme. So let's go on. So I tweeted that earlier. I did want to cover real quick, and then I'll get to the charts, I promise. I wanted to talk about this tweet I did the other day, which was all these people that hate that I'm covering Digibyte on YouTube probably would also hate to hear I support many projects off of my channel that aren't Litecoin. So, and I recruit executives, engineers, and other talent for actual ICOs. Can you believe it? The humanity. And I did that because, and many of you might be on Twitter, there's been a lot going on lately on Twitter in terms of Digibyte and the communities, and Poseidon Lou, thanks dude, $9.99. Please don't start, because if you start, I will find a way to send this back to you. I promise you, Poseidon Lou. Don't start with me. I really appreciate that though. $9.99, dude. Thank you. It just looks so nice when it pops up on the screen. It's so generous. It's so it's such a positive vibe to the chat. It gives me energy. It's kind of like having an energy drink while doing the live stream, but it's so much more organic. It's so much more full of love. Thanks, Lou. So there's been a ton of things going on Twitter, and you can even, Charlie Lee was getting involved in some of the conversations, and things are just getting crazy. And what's funny about it is when it's happening, especially if you're involved in the chat and you're involved in the comments, it's so highlighted. So there could be one person that's hating, but it screams so loud at you, and you feel like it's the biggest headline story of the day. It becomes such a big thing that I personally become focused on, which is probably pretty ridiculous. When commenters that are negative on Twitter just they just reel you in, and you would think it's the top headline story on the local news or something, or national news, but it's not. It's one commenter talking trash. But what's cool is I did do a video on Digibyte. It's true. I don't even own Digibyte, so there was one person that was couldn't believe I volunteer for the Litecoin Foundation and I own Digibyte, but this was cool. This person, Crypto Tiger, it's so awesome to see coverage of Digibyte by Crypto Recruiter and Tyler S. Crypto. I've been a loyal of your videos for a long time because Litecoin is one of my favorites. But to see you cover Digibyte, which for me is the perfect cryptocurrency, is just awesome. That's what I'm talking about, right? Why can't we all just have conversations about different cryptocurrencies? And then I wanted to cover this comment, which was really good, by Christian Williams. It was earlier today, 7 hours. This was in regards to a huge long chat that happened. I'm not even going to cover it. But basically this person replied. It was I guess the conversation that was happening was about Litecoin volunteers, Litecoin Foundation volunteers that volunteer their time, but they cover other cryptocurrencies. Like, there were people arguing that that's very bad. That's not cool. That's not right. It shouldn't happen. So this person, Christian Williams, commented 7 hours ago, said, I basically spent the last 6 hours and plan to spend many more watching Charlie Lee interviews. I think all crypto investors should do the same and look how accessible he is and understanding of what his words mean. What other leader in this space is this open to chat? And I just want to throw that out there. It is incredibly true. And Charlie Lee, he got in on the conversation and was basically like, you know, the Litecoin Foundation volunteers can cover what they want as long as they're not spreading fake news or, you know, something about Litecoin Foundation, then they can do whatever they want. Like, that's the world we live in, right? That's the decentralized world we live in. Litecoin Foundation, okay, is a centralized type of organization, but it was cool to kind of see that. And it was cool to see a lot of comments like this that came out. This is just one I wanted to highlight. And Christian, who said, I guess I should also say I've watched countless hours of Crypto Recruiter as well, which I highly suggest everyone follow. I love that plug right there. But I feel like it's important to understand and see what the vision from Charlie Lee is. And I agree. So respect to Christian Williams for that comment. That was cool. So here we are. We're on the charts. I guess before I start talking about it, right, we're just above $84 on Litecoin, just above 6,700 on Bitcoin. So what's going to happen? I don't know, but we're gonna see some possibilities in a second here. But I want to kind of see what all of you are saying. 10K Litecoin is my moon. Me too, man. Lesson learned. I'm not sure. See, this is what happens when I just pop into the chat. I'm so behind. So, what do you know about the coming gold standard? Cliff also said 100,000 Bitcoin parties. So $67 Litecoin still. Benjamin Lewis asks. $67 Litecoin. We can explore that in a second. You want to talk about taking profits? Not a bad idea. Guinness Speak says today's a good day. That's what I love. I always love when the markets are up. Everybody's in such a better mood. It's just one thing I've noticed. You can go on social media, everybody's in a better mood. Press 1 for $10,000 Litecoin party at Dan's. That would be ridiculous. $10,000. A $10,000 Litecoin would be unbelievable, and you better believe I'd happily throw a party somewhere. That would be awesome, actually. We should think about doing that if the markets really start moving. We should pick a price that we have like a meetup, like some ridiculous meetup at a certain price. So, Tremor 45, I do not watch Bitcoin Ben. So I'm gonna cover the charts a little bit real quick. You know, might as well. It's moving a little, but I want to talk about some kind of key areas that I have my eye on right now. One thing I like is where the stock RSI is in terms of momentum. We have plenty of room to grow right now in a bull run if it's to happen. I wouldn't necessarily say, you know, we're like in this crazy bull run right now. Obviously, from that green candle to where we are, Bitcoin up around 8%, which is definitely not bad. But in the crypto space, I mean, it's nothing crazy, especially being it's across a 3-day period and we've just opened a new candle on this 4th day. So really what I'm looking at is this. We can talk about the bulls. The bulls right here at this, like, for me, this is for me, okay? This $7,100 area. And that's because I kind of take this area that we had a bounce of support for back in May as possibly an area of resistance that we kind of bounce off of if we do run up to that area. And just so you have some provided context for what that might look like from where we are, a run up to that area is really only another 5 to 6%. So it's not like a ton of ways to go. So if we break that resistance area, that for me would be, okay, the bulls might actually start, they might actually have some control here in this uptrend that we're in. And it would be a very bullish scenario in my opinion. Now, I want to talk about, and obviously along the way we have this $6,800 area, which is the 50 EMA, which is really the first most crucial part for Bitcoin to break through in terms of momentum. So right now we have this stinking area of resistance. I mean, really, we can't even talk about up here at $7,100 because we've had a lot of trouble. Bitcoin has had a ton of trouble breaking this area right here at like 67.50 or whatever it is. It's bounced off it twice and we're seeing resistance now. So I'd be curious to see what happens in the next like 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours. Can this mini run continue and can we break through that stinking resistance area instead of bouncing down off of it? So the question is, what does bouncing down off of it look like? Where does that bring us? What's good right now for me is the fact that we have that bullish scenario that we just talked about up here. That's a bullish scenario. What's cool for me is the fact that even if we see resistance again here, obviously for a third time, it's not great. It's not the most optimistic type of outlook, but if we do bounce and see resistance, we still have an extremely bullish case scenario until we get to this line. So we can show support anywhere down to around $6,200, and if we show support down to $6,200, we're still kind of in a bullish mindset. We're in a bullish zone. For instance, say we come down to $6,400. The market, if it happens, just say it happens tomorrow and the market is down. Let me get my price range. So we're up here, we go down, we have a red daily tomorrow, like 5% down. The market feels depressed again. If you really think about what it's doing, and if we show support at 6,400, it's really just a higher low, which is it's a bullish move, right? Because to get out of this area that we are in, that's ultimately what we need. We need higher lows and higher highs. So that's something to look for if we do bounce off of this area. My daily chart is so messy now. I do want to talk about that bullish scenario one more time, because if we do see resistance here and we don't get that bullish breakout above $7,100, if we see resistance there, again, another still bullish scenario would be to get that resistance. We come back down and we test the neckline, which is something I talk about often in terms of reverse head and shoulders, is actually we want to come back down and see support at this neckline. We want to see support where we've recently just seen 3 areas of resistance. If we see that support, it's a further confirmation. It gives us more confidence of this possible turnaround in the market. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at on the daily chart for Bitcoin. And then obviously playing into that whole scenario would be, if we do make a downturn, would be to look at this 40 line again, or at least somewhere in this area for support and a possible bounce and a higher low even on the RSI. So those are some things I'm watching for, Bitcoin in the next 12 to 24 hours or so, or even tonight. I mean, anything can happen just at the snap of the fingers. So Jeremy Burns says, I'll meet you guys basically anywhere at $1,000 Litecoin. Grand illusion, no more downturns. Of course, nobody wants any more downturns. Tyler S. Tyler S is in the house. Ayo Dan, let's get some likes in here, gang. Thanks, dude. Dude, Tyler Schilling, Crypto Capital Venture, I love it. I would love if I have 176 people watching. If we could get 176 likes, that would be ridiculous. Steven, dude, thank you. $9.99 from Steven Herzog. I don't know what I'm gonna do with you fellas. Steven and Lou. Dan, great work. Litecoin, $120 next weekend. I'm calling it. So for anybody out there watching, if you haven't seen Steven in my comments on my videos, the last few days to a week, he's been calling Litecoin at $120 next weekend. So I assume that means coming up. I'm assuming. So that would be right. This is Steven's outlook. I believe. What is that? What's that date, Steven, for $120 Litecoin? July 16th today. So let me open my calendar because I'm just curious. I don't have my snapback. So that would be the 21st or the 22nd. So Steven, 21st, 22nd, right there. There's Steven's zone. Steven, if we get to $120, I will give you a Litecoin. If we get to $120 by this weekend, I will give you one full Litecoin. Just throwing that out there. So press 1 if you think Steven will be right and we hit $120 this weekend. I do not personally think that we will hit $120 this weekend. Coming up. What's up with Tone Vase hating on Litecoin? I do not know. I do not know, and I almost fail to care. I just like, when that all happened, there was like a whole day of negativity for some reason on social media. So I just like lost my energy. I lost my energy to care. So back to Bitcoin, that's kind of what we're looking at. A possible breakthrough $6,700 aggressively, because right now we're really seeing some resistance. We slowed down a little bit, but maybe we're taking a break up to $7,100, and which was that most previous lower low for actual reference, because I actually haven't explained why I even have that. Typically what I look for are breaking previous lower lows that acted as support once. Those are key areas to break in terms of creating momentum on the uptrend. So that $7,100 area is big to me. So let's go over to Pavel SJP, $9.99. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And if you're new here, I try aggressively to get people not to send me these super chats because I just don't even know. I feel so undeserving, but I'm so grateful. But Pavel, 3K Litecoin party at Dan's house. There it is. That should be it. $3,000 Litecoin, and I will hold a conference for all of us to hang out. Not sure what that would look like or how that would work. Brent says, Dan, we will see that $60 accumulation area before we go up. Oh, will we see that $60 accumulation area before going up? That's a good question. Poseidon, Lou, stop, dude. You always do this, man. And then I have to stop charting because you're making me blush. Lou, you're too much. Lou, I don't know what to do with you, man. Thank you, Lou. John David, man. What up? What up, Dan the man? John David, don't get in on this, man. Ay, ay, ay. I appreciate it, John. John David, I always see you in the comments, man. I really appreciate your viewership. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you hanging out with me and talking. That's all I ask for. That's all I need. That's all I need. I really appreciate all of you. Rick Chavez, Dan's so humble, but he loves it. I am. Like, I definitely feel undeserving, but I do love it. Like, it's exciting, and it's like, you know, it's definitely gratifying when people are doing that. I'm very grateful, to be honest. I really am. So, so I have here on this 4-hour Bitcoin, and then we'll go to Litecoin. Skilled bad habit. Appreciate what you do, pimp. What is your year-end price speculation for Christmas? Thanks again. If we enter a true bull market, you know, this is again, speculation, not prediction. For Litecoin, I talked about it in a video multiple times, $1,500. I believe eCurrency hodler from the Light School, I think his target for, you know, that bull market type of scenario was 1,000. That might be a little bit more realistic than my $1,500. However, a $1,500 Litecoin, in my opinion, in a bull market is extremely possible. If you've experienced bull markets in the past, and if you've experienced bear markets in the past, you can understand why it's possible. And I'm not saying it's likely, because I really don't know. I mean, this could be a year-long bear market. Right now, this little upward trend that we're having could just be a little, you know, we might see resistance here and never see $6,700 Bitcoin again until a year from now. It's always important to obviously look at the downside and upside, but my like upside for Litecoin this year would be $1,500 Litecoin. And I know that sounds crazy at an $83 Litecoin in July, but it's possible. Rick says, Dan, have you thought about holding a local event? I have actually, and I was looking at my YouTube analytics, and I did see that there are quite a lot of viewers in Pennsylvania, which was pretty cool. A lot of viewers in California, which doesn't surprise me. What's funny is like 90% of my clients are in San Francisco. I thought it was funny that most of my viewers are in California. I didn't really actually expect that. Malaka 13, $15. Thank you, Malaka. Malaka, and I apologize if I'm. Malaka asks, do you think there are many people out there using crypto like a casino? I started out diehard Litecoin, HODL, then got on Binance. So I'm trying to figure out, do you think there are many people out there using crypto like a casino? Like using it like just betting on crypto? I mean, crypto is volatile, but it's really no different than if you were to go invest in penny stocks in the stock market. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, or if you're asking, are there people that are building companies, like betting sites building on top of the blockchain? Or are you on Binance now with all the cryptocurrencies that you can go crazy buying and hoping to see some crazy gains? Crazy fun, wow. Are you and Tyler S going to make a hip music video? How cool would that be? I actually think, I'm pretty sure I told Sarah after I saw Tyler S's new intros, I was like, I want to do like an intro video, a funny intro video with Tyler S. Steven Herzog, Dan, how about you, Tyler S, and John Kim get a TV show, Crypto TV on Verizon Fios? Let's make it happen, change the crypto world. That would be ridiculous. Crypto TV show, that's interesting. Ryan wants to see a music video. I don't know if Tyler's probably not here anymore, but Tyler, let's go, dude. I'm all game. I'm game for a live stream with you. I'm game to do a crazy sick intro video, crypto intro video. You gotta create the music. You gotta create the music for me. TJR says, hello from Kentucky. What's up, Kentucky? So let's look at real quick what I was going to talk about, which I kind of forget. You guys are killing me. Support at around $6,400. This is the last thing on Bitcoin, which was the $6,400 area, and we kind of touched on this. Where is that? I don't know why I wrote $6,400. I meant down here $6,100. So we would look for support back here at 60, this obviously the low of this shoulder. We would look for support on a downtrend. So just something to keep an eye on. That's kind of why I was putting that there. And the price range for that from where we are now would be, again, like a 8% downtrend. So prepare for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen. So let's go to Litecoin real quick. I kind of want to look at it. Same thing on the daily. Nice momentum upwards. We have some room to go, which is nice to see. You know, it could be a precursor to what's to come. It could also be telling us, hey, we're taking a break right now, and you know, we still have a nice uptrend to continue. Point out real quick on the daily on Litecoin, you can see we talked about the RSI. We talked about this 40 line, why it's important. That 40 to 90 area is generally where you'll see cryptocurrency trade in a bull market. So we want to stay above the 40 when we want to see support at the 40. I saw a comment just scroll by real quick, a recap, and that's something I talked about. And actually, really, to paint that picture, you can even go to the bear market back in 2014, 2015, and I highlighted it down here. You can see how often we traded below the 40. So trading below the 40 very often is a bear market scenario. So that's why you want to keep an eye on where that RSI is, especially on the higher time frames, which would be the daily. And you can see after that bear market, we started uptrending, and you can see Bitcoin kind of staying up here in that 40 to 90 area. That's why we use the RSI 40. So that's part of a recap for whoever asked that question. So Litecoin on the daily looking nice above that 40 right now. I hope it stays there, and I hope we don't trade there for very long again, like we actually just did for a while in June. That wasn't fun, especially after talking about how we don't want it to happen, and then it happens. So Litecoin going over to the 4 hour, I mean, if some of you have been watching my videos about this reverse head and shoulders on the 4 hour in Litecoin, it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool to track the head and shoulders. We called that out like 10 days ago on Bitcoin, the reverse head and shoulders on the daily. And a few days ago, we started tracking this 4 hour reverse head and shoulders down here. We got the break above the neckline. And the more important line that we were looking to break, synergistic with that neckline, was the 50 EMA. And there it is. We broke the 50 EMA even. So right now, Litecoin is definitely looking good in terms of momentum. So similar to Bitcoin, if Litecoin sees some resistance, right, especially as we approach these areas like this 84 area, and dare I say 90 area. 90 area is kind of a long way to go, but it could happen in terms of what that might look like. Price range, that would be 6-7%. So that could happen tonight, tomorrow would be awesome. That would probably be the best case scenario for Litecoin to get above this 200 EMA. Very important for Litecoin. But looking at this 4 hour chart, similar to Bitcoin, on a pullback, always expect pullbacks after runs like this, like we've had today. A pullback, we want to see support right around like that $78 area up to 79. And simply put, that is kind of our version of the neckline, right? Obviously, we have this neckline down here, but this 50 EMA line is a very, very critical point for Litecoin. So if we do come back down, it's not a bearish thing. You know, a pullback is not a bearish, especially, and Poseidon Lou, I see you, man, 499. Nick LTC knows, bad Poseidon. Poseidon, dude. Lou, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you, man. You don't want to mess with this Philly guy. You're killing me, man. Oh man, I'm the worst trash talker. I really am. I'm a very bad trash talker. Lou, I appreciate it. So, a pullback is not a bearish scenario, and I want to point out to you on the 4 hour stock RSI, a pullback might be in order. Again, I'm not saying a pullback down to oversold, but at least a pullback down to at least like the 60, 70 area could be in order. And that could bring us down to this 50 EMA. If we see support there, still bullish. A bounce off there, very bullish. Breaking through that 200 EMA, the 90. So right now we're in this crazy area of between the 50 EMA and 200 EMA again. Lou. Oh man, he's just having fun with me. Wendell says, I think Poseidon button is stuck. Lou, you're awesome. Appreciate it. we're in this area again between the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA, and it's always a weird place to be, because instead of talking about, you know, finally getting some upward momentum to the 50, because we've always had these bounces in this downtrend, and if you watch these videos that I've been covering in this downtrend, you know it, because we've been talking about these pullbacks from these 50 EMAs, bounce off of it and down like 20%, and they keep happening. So the fact that we're above the 50 right now, we're actually talking about possibly approaching the 200 EMA is a good place to be, but it's also a very unknown place to be, because similar to what happened back here in June, we might fail and we might break back below the 50 EMA. So be prepared for that on the downside. Skilled Bad Habit 1, thank you for the 5. I'm all in on Litecoin, Cardano, Lumens, and XRP. Just my nest egg for the future. Any other cryptos you suggest? Long-term hold. Thanks again. Cryptos that I would suggest. I always have trouble like suggesting cryptocurrencies. But you know, I've been just tracking a bunch, obviously, like Digibyte. And if there's any Digibyte people in here, forgive me, but I am going to say it. Digibyte is a great cryptocurrency to trade, in my opinion. I don't really cover the trading aspect of it, because I feel like if I did short-term trading videos, I'd feel way more responsible than just covering price and covering long-term projections and trends and momentum. I feel like responsible, like I'm you know, influencing people to start trading, and I just don't want to do that. So that's why I don't do trading videos. However, Digibyte could be a good one to trade. You have Cardano, which is a very good long-term hold in my opinion, for many reasons. And then what else? Zcash. Did you have Zcash on your comments? I don't remember. But Zcash is one that I would recommend. Really, any of these cryptocurrencies, especially possibly being added to Coinbase. I did a video on this before yesterday, or the day before yesterday, about potential gains if that happens. If based on what happened with Bcash, based on what happened with Zcash being added to Gemini, we're talking like 70% gains in those scenarios, if not more. So if you believe in a project right now and it's potentially being added to something like Coinbase, it could be a nice play, because first of all, you believe in the project, right? You might not mind going long on the project. And second of all, if you want the potential of maybe a short-term profit take, then you have some, you know, potential. So the risk reward there is greater than any other cryptocurrency in the space right now, because I don't know of any other cryptocurrencies besides the ones listed that are potentially going to be added to Coinbase. And that's some bullish news if you ask me. So if you're not considering going long on any of them, I'm not sure why. So that was my answer for, I forget his name, Skilled Bad Habit. But that was actually a pretty good question. And I might be forgetting some. So Litecoin 4 hour, that's what we're looking for, right? We can take, for example, what happened in that last, well, I'm on Zcash. What am I doing? I think it might be time to end this live stream soon. So what happened in this last bull trend is what we're looking to happen literally right now. You can see this move up above the 50 EMA, a nice green candle on a 4 hour, like we had recently today. Nice green candle above the 50, and you can see the 50 EMA starts moving upwards, and then we start seeing higher highs and higher lows with support above the 50. That's all we're looking for right now. So will that happen? I don't know. I love going to bed, you know, at an $83 Litecoin and seeing it waking up above 90. That would be nice, in my opinion. So I always love doing these ones and twos. I want to get a sense for what you all are thinking. And you look at the 4 hour on Litecoin trading right between the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA. So my question for you is, press 1 if you think this uptrend that we're in will continue and you believe we will break the 200 EMA tonight or tomorrow. Press 2 if you think we're going back down. Tremor says, have a beer, Dan. It looks like we are, I don't know, I can't tell, I can never tell, but definitely it looks like, definitely looks like more ones than twos. So the room, well, now we got some twos. The room looking a little bit more bullish than bearish. 2, but then up and over, says Chase. Steven's bullish. Steven Herzog is bullish. John Rambo says 3. John Rambo's spamming the room. So it looks like, it really actually does look like 2 wins. So Steven asks, what do you think? And I'll tell you what I think. I missed the name of the person that said somebody thinks we're pulling back and then back up. And I have that same thought. I think we might see a little pullback, especially considering what we just talked about on the stock RSI. I can see a slight pullback, maybe a red candle. Nothing crazy, not a huge red candle, but maybe a 3% day red candle, and then possibly a bounce back up and above the 200 EMA. But those are my thoughts. I could be completely wrong. It's always really tough, especially in these scenarios. Like this bottom, what is very interesting about this bottom is how similar it looks to that previous bottom, that previous second bottom that we had in Litecoin back in, you know, what was that? It was May, April. So right now, hopefully forming this third bottom. But it really is funny that when we have a good day like this, the markets are definitely just, the sentiment is bullish. So all we need is that sentiment momentum, right? That bullish sentiment momentum, which is to say, the more days we have green, the more higher highs that we have, the more higher lows that we have. And this is obvious. I know I'm stating the obvious right now, but the sentiment changes pretty rapidly when that happens. So one thing I just keep thinking, the person asked if I trade cryptocurrencies like a casino. And I'm thinking they're talking about on Binance. There's so many cryptocurrencies you can get into and maybe get some quick gains. It's very risky. It is like gambling. But I was on live Coin Watch earlier, and it's kind of fun if you just go to the price, or I'm sorry, the gains, the 24-hour gains, and you click that, and you can order it by, you know, losses and gains. Look at some of these. Which, I mean, most of them don't even count. This 281% sounds impressive, but look at the volume. The 24-hour volume is $1,400. But it's very fun to kind of go through this and look at this. So 10x, look at 10x. Everybody knows 10x. 80% gains in 24 hours. And then you can just go through the list. So I really love that feature, and I especially love that you can update the charts. So, or that the charts update real time. I think that's cool. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin and Litecoin. I wanted to cover a little bit of the charts, a little bit of the news, some of the things going on. Anybody have any questions or anything to ask before I leave? Tremor, drinking one for you, Dan. You're good people. Thanks, man. Cheers to you. I wish we had the technology. You could hand me a cold one, and we could chill. Is EOS all hype? I bet you if I ask that question on the chat, it'll be a 50-50. Digibyte, Doge. Dan, you live stream till we break 90, says Nick LTC. Could you imagine? I might be here for a year, Nick. I don't even think I would survive. But maybe I'll be here for 2 hours. I wish that as we were live streaming now, we just mooned. That would be awesome. I've actually never done a live stream where we just kind of take off, and I want to do that. So I think that's a definite thing I'm gonna do. Is I'll start a live stream no matter where I am if like we're like legit mooning. So stay away from EOS, says someone in the chat. Chaser Daily welcomes. Nick LTC, got a live stream with the crew. Yes, got a live stream with Tyler, eCurrency Heidler, David Schwartz. Gotta get them guys. Alan Higgs, thank you sir, $10. Not necessary, man, but I'm very appreciative. Wendell says, wish you and the missus the best. Thank you. Dan, have you looked into Gollum? I really haven't. I've seen it plenty of times, but I really haven't looked into the project. 3, 2, 1. In Jay We Trust says, y'all believe everything Charlie says. So we have a Litecoin hater in the house. Maybe I should just sit here and we can wait until Litecoin moons. I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna end the video here, but I really do appreciate all of you. I'll tell you what, if we begin moving upwards, you better believe I will be probably hopping back on. I'm up usually until like 2, 3 in the morning working over here. I don't stop, and then I go to sleep, and then I wake up and I work and I do YouTube videos, and then I work a little bit more. Then I go to the gym. So if I'm up and if we start moving, if the markets start moving a little bit, I'm gonna hop on a live stream. If some of you are up, feel free to join me, and we can hang out and watch the markets move a little bit. Because Nick says, what time do you wake up? I wake up, it depends. Sometimes 8 in the morning. Today was 8:30. I don't set my alarm typically to wake up early. I sleep as long as I need to. I set my alarm for a time when I make sure I don't sleep past. But I kind of just live my life, and then I go to bed. 2 a.m. to 8, ouch. Right, Nick? I know, man. It's tough. Is the recommended 8 hours, right? But what are you gonna do? I'm a busy guy. Crypto Roger, I wake up at 5 a.m. automatically. I love the shift of this conversation. All right, time for me to go. You all are awesome. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Anybody who super chatted, you're killing me. I appreciate you so much. I will get on a live stream if we start going up again. God bless you too, Steven. Jacob, I'm signing out, but welcome, and hopefully we'll catch up later. Appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you all in the next video, and God bless.